What we lack in truth, we make up in lies.
You might be surprised by this, but there are some things I dislike. If I only had a segment. This week, my dislike button goes to the Conservative Party and their endless fake culture war on marijuana. Yes, outside of, hey, look under your bed, it's ISIS, the other election issue they really want to press seems to be that Justin Trudeau and those crazy hippies in the NDP want to somehow shove marijuana down our children's throats. And for me, I have no idea why, because I live in Ontario, and we're shoving other things down children's throats there. It's part of the sex ed bill. But I digress. The whole issue around marijuana seems to stem around 1965 cultural values. The idea that the 70s ever happened seems to be sort of amiss in the Conservative Party. What do I mean? Well, this week the Supreme Court ruled that, hey, since that medicinal marijuana is legal, it might make sense to make it legal in other forms, like a cookie, which of course set the Conservative Party into level orange terror freakout alert.
I'm outraged by the message that judges are sending, that they think that they can approve a drug into a medicine without clear clinical scientific evidence.
Yes, Rona Ambrose was outraged. Outraged, I say.
The big issue here is the message about normalization. The message that judges, not medical experts, judges have decided something is a medicine.
You see, guys, Rona of the Conservative Party is really upset that we're not taking people in the lab coats seriously. How dare we ignore people in the lab coats and go to those judges? Yes, I can't believe we're ignoring people who have medical degrees or, science or, basically what your party's been doing for the last decade.
Well, let's remember, I think it was Canadians that actually lost public health and safety ground over 10 years ago when a court ruled that smoking marijuana was, quote-unquote, a treatment.
Rona, who's outraged about this, but not so much about, remember that whole right to choose thing for women?
There's more fallout tonight from yesterday's pro-life vote in the House of Commons. The Conservative minister responsible for the status of women is rejecting calls for her resignation.
No, nothing, Rona?
We have to continue to get the message to Canadians that this is not a drug. It is not a medicine. There's very harmful effects of marijuana, especially on our youth.
Yes. We should all think of the children. But while we're doing that, let's think of this specific child, say this 7-year-old in Ottawa who has a rare form of epilepsy which causes a lot of seizures a day. So, what helps that child? Marijuana. But Dan, kids can't smoke pot. That's against our 1970s PSA that we once saw in grade 5. Well, old conservative folks, I do have something to say to you. Health Canada was okay with that. Yes, that's right, you heard this first. A 7-year-old was smoking pot. But wouldn't it be better if that 7-year-old wasn't blazing up with mom rolling a joint and maybe could just eat a brownie like 7-year-olds do? No, Dan, because Health Canada hasn't said that that's okay, except the Supreme Court of Canada did just now. So, Dan, what have we learned? Well, kids, we've learned that A, it's not legal in Canada to have your marijuana in the form of a brownie or lip balm. We have also learned that there's 7-year-olds in this country that have terrible epileptic seizures, and you know what? Need marijuana to solve that problem. And we have learned that C, that Rona Ambrose really thinks that's outrageous that a child could be eating pot. In fact, she wants things to go back to the old-fashioned way, where your children blaze up. Ladies and gentlemen, start your attack ads. Rona Ambrose wants your children to smoke pot. So what do you think? Legalize, decriminalize, or status quo? Let us know in the comments and subscribe to support the show.